Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 177, but not 77, but not 78, but I think also not 179. We're somewhere in the mix because the truth is, I think we recorded an entire episode that we never even released. We're going to go with episode 179. My name is Cayman. I'm going to be the host for tonight. I never do this. Patrick never lets me out of my cage alone. But tonight he did, and I'm terrified to say that I have a person with me who I could potentially ruin their evening with. That is going to be our friend, longtime fan of the show, Josh, Highscoreweekly. Josh, how are you doing, brother?
Hey, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun. I have been on Spotlight Games before with Patrick for the Bloom and Rage episode, spoiler cast. That's the only time I've been on here. I've never been on content anywhere with you. So this is a first time exclusive. Put it on the calendar, 2025, September, whatever it is, 16th. This is our first solo content together.
It is. And I have to say, Josh, like I distinctly remember, I'm going to out you for a second.
Okay.
I distinctly remember there was a moment in time in which you showed up to, I think it was Mortal Kombat, the STC takeover of Mortal Kombat, and you were like, Cayman, please never again make the people sit through that. And it shook me to my core. You did not like my sense of humor, my comedic stylings when I'm in charge. I promise you this, I will be on my best behavior this evening. The truth is that I have agreed with Patrick that I will try to keep our reputation as stalworthy as possible. I want him to feel like we've honored him in his absence. I would tell you why he's not here, but I'll let him do that on the next episode if he survives it.
I can tell he's in here spending money.
He's dropping dimes in the chat. Yeah, shout out to P-Schwag. He's not even here, but he's supporting us. He's supporting us in tax fraud. Love it. Well, guys, let's get this fucking show on the road. We have a whole lot of video game stuff to talk about because this is the Spotlight Games podcast, where each week we spotlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Spotlight Games Pod or by searching for Spotlight Games in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/spotlightgames.pod. So be sure to follow us there so that you're notified when we are going live. Now let's get a little housekeeping out of the way. Last night was the girls over at JK Games doing a little Titanfall 2 with their video game book club. And Josh was telling me, because unfortunately I wasn't able to tune in last night, but Josh was telling me there was a special guest on that episode. Is that right, Josh? Who was the special guest we had on the book club?
Kayla's brother was actually featured. So there's two of them last night. And the energy was there. And so definitely check that out. If there's a lot of the same shared, there's some cross circles with the community. I've been helping produce JK Games some. And so I was able to jump in there too. I haven't really played Titanfall 2, me and Jerica. And so it was Kayla and her brother kind of, grilling us on our thoughts and opinions. And so definitely join JK Games Monday nights for Video Game Book Club, where they're picking different games to play through. It could be older releases or new releases, and we discuss them. So check it out.
It is such a fun time to tune in, and I can't wait to see. Like I said, I was unable to make it last night, but the energy, but having Kayla and her brother, I don't know if I want to know the level of that is, because Kayla's so nice and sweet. It makes me feel like her brother just has to be one of the worst humans ever. He's got to be just the worst.
He's out of control. He's like, he hasn't been on a lot of podcasts, so I think he was
a degenerate.
But he's he's got little brother energy for sure.
Little brother energy. Sure. I love. Well, as someone who has an older brother, I too sometimes have little brother energy. Let me tell you a little inside baseball. If you tuned into the last episode that may or may not actually have released, you would have heard us make an announcement about how we were going to do a Borderlands pod, and then we were going to do a stream later about Borderlands. Well, that's not happening. However, it will be happening tomorrow. join me and Jerica from the JK Games Pod. We will be joining in, doing a live Borderlands 4 stream. We may be graced by some special guests as well. So if you want to see us fool around, you can see my badass Raja build that I'm just absolutely wreaking havoc on. Then let me tell you, you should join us tomorrow night live on the Drop In Drop Out podcast for some Borderlands 4. And lastly, join the Discord. Discord's popping off. Josh, you can testify that the Discord's popping off. Is it, Josh?
Oh yeah, all day, every day. Lots of things, different communities, of course. So, there's Spotlight Game stuff in there. There's JK Game stuff in there. Dumpster Boy himself, he's got his own stuff in there. So
sometimes
exclusive.
the dumpster boy comes out of his dumpster and speaks.
Exclusive.
Sometimes he does it.
Yeah, you never know.
Who knows what you're gonna get with me? Look, like I said, Discord's going off. You can also go to the dropindropoutpod.com. You can find our Discord there. And all the different places we're bringing you the sweet, sweet content you so love. Also, the Discord is the easiest way to be part of our shows with our weekly discussion posts. And we'll be pulling from later this episode because tonight we're going to talk about the hottest takes of 2025 in the video games industry. What does that mean? Presumably some spicy content. Now, I can't speak for Josh, but I can speak for myself that some people will be pissed off by the end of the show.
Oh, I got good ones. And Cayman was like, do not tell me what yours are because it's content, reaction content. We can't tell each other our hot takes. And so as soon as he said, hey, come up with some hot takes, I wrote down, I got my list. And so don't worry, I'm not holding back.
Ooh. Well, let me tell you right now, one of the hot takes that won't be on this list is that Hollow Knight Silk Song sucks. That hot take has been presented every episode since that game has come out. As someone who refuses to play it, I'll let Patrick take all of the heat for that one. That being said, what we're going to do is I'm going to hold the suspense on our hot takes. I'm going to hold our suspense for our controversy. I want to start off with a little bit of news. Josh, how are you feeling about starting off talking about some video game adaptations?
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned Mortal Kombat. By the way, I actually,
Yeah.
half the things I say, I'm trolling most. I'm kind of like I'm a little bit of a troll. I watched your whole Mortal Kombat episode. Very impressed by your production value and your knowledge of the Mortal Kombat series. This is adjacent to video game adaptations, of course, and the movie has just got delayed. The new one.
It's true. Do you know why? Did you see why they delayed the movie?
They said because. Wait, I remember. Hold on, it's coming to me. They said because no, I don't remember.
It's okay. Don't worry, I'll tell you because I do. Apparently they did a bunch of test screenings and the test screenings came back incredible. So they're like, we're not going to drop it in October where we're going to get like middling returns. We're going to drop it in May, like the peak of Blockbuster, like we're of like the start of Blockbuster season. So we can essentially make like $1 billion franchise out of Mortal Kombat.
Now, do you think this is,
hope.
If it's the suits though, do you think that means it's too tame? If the suits like it, if they're like, well, we think this is going to make a lot of money, so let's make it a summer blockbuster. Do you think it's like going to lose some of that campiness or something?
No, and I don't think so. And I'll tell you why I don't think it's going to do that specifically because the way that movies are going now with Deadpool being as popular as it is, that level of gratuitous violence, as long as it's played for some sort of laugh, is completely okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think it's great that they have faith in it,
Yeah. Oh, I think it's great. I think we should have more faith in it. I watched this video of 50 Cent. 50 Cent was like showing off. He's going to be in the Street Fighter movie that's coming out, which by the way,
I forgot that cast is yeah, it's insane.
Holy shit. It's just nothing but pro wrestlers and weird celebrities you forgot about.
I'm kind of looking forward to that too. Even if it's kind of stupid,
excited. Yeah. But it's 50 Cent and he has the Balrog haircut. Like the things, the pattern, that weird pattern on his head. And he's just doing jumping jacks. I'm like, this guy is locked fucking in for this.
Method actor.
So fucking locked in. Which, speaking of being locked in, let's talk about some TV adaptations.
Yeah,
TV adaptations of video games are creating millions of new players. This is Tony Maglio over at the Hollywood Reporter. The gaming IP arrangement is working both ways, and in a huge way, a new study has shown. He goes on to say some really fun things, like one of the great legs up available to TV and films creators is the use of existing IP. And many of today's popular adaptations are coming from video games. That's not necessarily brand new, but we're just now beginning to understand is a powerful two-way relationship with the original material and a successful conversion, as the latest study from Ampere analyst puts it. Quote, hit TV adaptations of video games are proving to be rocket fuel for players. He goes on to say these screen, TV, and film adaptations are driving an average player growth of nearly 140%. The analyst found, which is, quote, far higher than the game-based activations, isolating just the television adaptations. That average number grows to 203%. Movies still work, but at a lower rate of just 48%.
This is
Whoa.
actually very interesting to me. Like I like the angle of this article. Like I
Right.
know that like a lot of recent TV adaptations have been popular, like Last of
Mhm.
Us, Fallout. What else we got? And recently, um,
I mean, don't want to talk about Halo. I don't think Halo put
yeah, I don't
anyone
think that
back
was as
in the
popular,
seat.
but I know they've been
Twisted
like
Metal was great. I think
popular
the new
with
season
like,
just
oh
came
yeah,
out
Twisted
too.
Metal. That's right.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know where I was like channel surfing. Who does that these days with streaming things? But somehow it just came up on my screen and this show, and I was like watching it, and the tone of it was so weird. I was like, "What is this?" And it was the Twisted Metal show.
Mm.
I had not caught it before, and I was like, "This is so interesting." I didn't
Honestly,
even know that's
it's
what it
great.
was, and
It's
so
great.
I think like while I know that those have been popular for these studios, I hadn't really considered that it was kind of. I thought like, well, there's a lot of video game fans, of course, like Last of Us people, PlayStation people, you're watching the show, it's
Right.
making the money. I hadn't considered that it was reverse flow and bringing people to games that
Yeah.
much. You know what I mean? Like those are some pretty high percentages. Um, and so I think that's interesting. You know, the Pedro Pascal effect, I guess, you know?
It's true. It really is crazy. And like kind of just here like 140%.
That's a lot.
Specifically, it does seem like, and it is worth, I suppose, like kind of saying like the 203%, that's television. Like,
Yeah.
that's so we know that it's gonna probably be that a lot of people who've never played a video game before or hadn't played a video game in a long time watched The Last of Us and were like, "You know what? I'm gonna get a PlayStation. I'm gonna play this game." And I think we can be okay with saying that. I mean, it makes sense when you look at, like, movies. I don't think a lot of people saw Mortal Kombat and were like, "Oh, I'm gonna go out for Mortal Kombat 1. I'm gonna go get a game for that." Or, like, more specifically, the only person who did this was Jake when he saw the Sonic film. He was
There
the
you go.
only person that was like, "I'm gonna replay Sonic now."
Yeah.
Here's the thing, that's coming for someone who actually enjoyed the movie. Sonic just sucks as a game. That is the first hot take
Wow,
of
there you go. You heard it here.
2025.
Well, I just thought it was interesting. And incidentally, like on social media on TikTok, I do remember like when Last of Us Part Two, because they split it into two, whatever. They ended the season where the game wasn't done. And I did incidentally see a lot of people on TikTok who were buying consoles or trying it for the first time or borrowing it from a
Right.
friend because they wanted to continue the story since the show just stopped. And they were like
Yeah.
trying to learn how to play, but they're, like watching like a parent like learn how to like control something in 3D is like kind of funny. So I guess just like I had seen a few of those TikToks. I didn't realize it really translated to like actual numbers though. So that's crazy.
Yeah, look, I think it's an incredible thing that we have on our hands here, and I think things are getting better. Did you ever play I think it's just on PC, Exit 8? It was like one of the time loop games.
I don't think I played that. No.
So there was like other games like Cabin Factory was a really
Yeah,
popular
I
one.
saw your coverage of that, but I
Um,
had also seen it before.
yeah, I'm not sure which one came first, to be completely honest with you. I never played Exit 8, but I played like all of the rip-offs, getting like cheap
Oh,
items and shit. It
is
just
that the
got
one in like the subway? Like you're like
yes,
underground? Okay,
yes.
yeah. It got a show, right? Or a
It
Japanese
just got a
show
TV
or
a movie
yeah,
adaptation,
yeah.
and I saw a review because it's apparently now coming to the States, and I think Neon picked it up, which is wild
That's
if
so
it was
cool.
like a brand like that, but, yeah, apparently the reviews are stellar. They're like, "This is, like, one of the best movie adaptations of all time of a video game." We're in a renaissance of TV, movie, video game adaptations, just an absolute renaissance. And you know what, man? I don't think it's stopping anytime soon.
I wonder, like, what do you think it is? You have a lot of insight on the entertainment industry. Do you think that like I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I have no idea, but do you
Mhm.
think it's because when I was growing up, we had adaptations from video games that are awful. Like the Super Mario
Right. Oh
Brothers
yeah.
movie, the original one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I could name Resident Evil, like a bunch of stuff, the original stuff. Um, but do you think maybe now it's because they're like people maybe my age that are in the industry or have been in the industry, like have industry experience,
Mhm.
but who are also passionate about games, I guess. And so
Yeah.
it's not just like people trying to be, oh, these games popular, and it's like not a game. Not
Right.
I don't want to say the word gamer because it's lame, but it's not like someone who understands the property and they're just like trying to do a cash grab versus like people who might have actual filmmaking experience or writing experience, and then they're also passionate about this hobby. So it's like maybe we're getting higher quality stuff, or what do you think?
I think it's a mixture of all of the above. I think there's people who are like coming together. I don't think that there's a lot of IP today that like isn't already owned by studios that are like don't fucking ruin our brand by putting out dog shit. I think
Yeah.
that's a big deal. Um and so I think when, Nintendo comes to Searchlight or not Searchlight, when they come to who the fuck did it wasn't DreamWorks,
Uh,
Illumination.
yeah,
When they
Illumination.
go to
Yeah.
Illumination, they're like, "Hey, you're gonna make our Mario movie, and if you fuck this up, I swear to God, we will eat you."
Yeah.
Like,
And
you know,
Miyamoto's been
fuck
micromanaging that one too. So he's like
right,
there, like breathing down their necks like every
yeah, and
day,
so,
basically.
I mean, the only movie I can think of recently that I would be like 100% misses the mark is the Uncharted film,
Ah,
and what I will say about that is that this is Sony, who does not give a flying fuck about their IP.
yeah, that is funny. It
That
is
is the
funny because
only
Sony is like
right.
also a game studio and a movie studio. So you'd think they could like do some synergy,
Correct.
corporate synergy.
Yeah, it's at like, look at what they've done with their and someone could be like, "Oh, well, The Last of Us came in," like, yeah, maybe to some degree, but not enough of a degree for it to, like, matter. Believe me, season 2 of The Last of Us showed us a lot, I think, about the creative talent
Yeah,
behind the scenes making
yeah.
some of those decisions, so that's all I'll
You,
say there.
you did have
Um
some interesting chatters in
Yeah.
here.
Ooh,
Coleman
tell me.
said, "I can't wait for Life is Strange and Expedition 33 adaptation." So the Life is Strange one got
Mm,
announced. Expedition 33, they announced that they sold the rights to TV
right.
rights or whatever. I don't think we haven't heard about like production yet, but those will be good, especially Life is Strange. I'm a huge fan of that. And then Dan Goodshow said Elden Ring movie is gonna go crazy, and that has been announced
Yes,
too. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Alex Garland from A and I
Yeah.
think A24 is also producing it. I do wanna point out one thing here. The Dan Good Show also says, Ed Coleman's kind of like the Until Dawn movie, LMAO. Here's the thing. The Until Dawn movie, bad movie, but a bad movie that you can have fun with. And I will eventually we will do Until Dawn for STC on one of these channels because it is a goofy fucking dumbass movie with so many stupid moments, but I think it will go down as a cult classic. It will 100% go down as a cult classic. Like, mark my fucking word. I am so high on just how bad that movie is. It's gonna do things for people.
Okay.
You
Okay.
just you just
It'll come
got it
back.
on
You got to give it
Netflix
some
right
time.
now.
These kind of movies, you
Yeah.
can see
Oh,
it.
no, you can't watch
Give it
that
some
now.
time.
Speaking of giving things
Yeah.
time, apparently, Dragon Quest VII, Square Enix thinks they wanna give some of that time back to players.
What a
This comes
transition.
from Jordan Gerblick at, Games Radar. The article is titled "Dragon Quest VII Reimagined takes the original JRPG's bloated story and cuts, quote, subplots that have little or no direct relevance, to the main quest, but also adds, quote, entirely new scenarios." So the original Dragon Quest VII is a bona fide classic JRPG, blah, blah, blah. But in a newly published Square Enix interview with Dragon Quest VII Reimagined producer Takeshi Ichikawa, the issue of pacing is addressed. Quote, the reimagined elements of the narrative allude to improvements in the game's overall framework, which offers a much deeper, more compelling experience, said Ichikawa. He continues, in our effort to streamline the overall story progression and provide a more engaging narrative, we decided to cut subplots that have little or no direct relevance to the main scenario, end quote. He goes back on later, Ichikawa does, and says, quote, while some content has been removed, entirely new scenarios have also been introduced at Ichikawa. Quote, our goal was to build upon the strengths of the original game while striving to deliver a deeper, more immersive story experience for modern players, and just to give everyone who is a Dragon Quest fan, just like me, heads up, that's going to be dropping on all of the consoles, all of the Switches, all of the PlayStations, all of the Xboxes on February 5th, 2006, next year. Josh, as someone who collects physical media, which we'll
Yeah.
talk about even more in depth later, and would believe to some extent due to that being some level of purist, how do you feel about a historic studio like this going in and being like, someone like Ichikawa being like, we're chopping shit that you remember, we're getting rid of it, and we're adding other stuff in? Like, do you think that helps, hurts? Are you agnostic on this? Tell me your thoughts and feelings.
This is a bonus hot take. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
brother.
bonus. This isn't even my hot take. This is a bonus one. I love in remakes and remasters and stuff when they change it and do unexpected things.
Really?
Yeah, because and see, that's not the norm. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan,
Mhm.
and people are like the Final Fantasy nerds are losing their mind about the remake, that it's not, they changed all this stuff. This is not how it happened in the game, yada, yada, oh, Sephiroth, blah blah. I love all that because it's rare for me, even though yeah, I have all these games, whatever. I, especially nowadays, I don't even beat that many games. I'll play a game for like a little bit and be like, okay, I get it. And I just won't even beat it. And then it's, even though I have like, yeah, I collect all this physical media, I don't replay that many games, which is funny. So what's the point even, I guess? But so whenever there's a like Dragon Quest 7, I don't think I beat it. I did play Dragon Quest 7 some. Um, but when you're telling me like, okay, we're taking it, we're streamlining it, we're reimagining it, we're adding some stuff, we're doing, it's like a director's cut almost.
Right.
That makes me more inclined to play this versus a straight port remake where
Mhm.
nothing has changed. Because honestly, I could still play that. Nothing like Final Fantasy 7. I can still go play Final Fantasy 7 if I want that experience. So I'd rather play a new experience, kind of like a spin-off of that, like where it's changed, readapted, reimagined, where I get a new experience on something familiar, so I can be surprised. And
Right.
so I'm much more inclined to play a Dragon Quest 7 remake that has things cut out of it. And honestly, a lot of these old JRPGs, Dragon Quest 7 was PlayStation 1 or 2, 1? I think it
I
was 1.
want to say
PlayStation 1 or
2.
2. Can't remember. I did.
Let's look this up.
8 is on 2.
8
I
is
think
on
I
2.
think 1 is
First,
on,
yes.
I think
8
it's
is on
on
2,
1.
yes.
Either way,
Okay.
PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 era JRPGs, they're bloated most of the time. Dragon Quest especially. I'm more of a Final Fantasy
PlayStation
fan
1,
in
you're right.
general.
PlayStation 1.
When they did the Square Enix merger, like, okay, now we're doing Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. I'm mostly still stuck with Final Fantasy. I've dabbled in Dragon Quest. I know you're a huge Dragon
Yeah,
Quest fan,
I
but
love it.
yeah, I'm kind of all about it. So that's unexpected take. I think most people do expect me to be more of a purist about it. What about you? You're a Dragon Quest fan, so
So this is an interesting one where, I'm torn, and I'm torn for one reason, and that is that I am a I love dearly Dragon Quest 8,
yeah.
but you can only play Dragon Quest 8 on a physical copy on PlayStation 2 unless presumably you can emulate it, which I'm assuming you probably can, but I'm not gonna do that. I
No,
don't
I
have the
understand.
time,
Yeah. Yeah.
energy, patience to do that. So the only way that you would be able to play, and I'm going out on a limb and assuming 7's the same way. I haven't looked. So someone in the chat
I
correct
think
me here.
isn't it on 3DS? Because I
That would be like the only other way,
yeah,
but
yeah,
even
either way.
that still, like, the
Yeah,
3DS to
a
some
barrier.
degree is becoming, yes. So, and that's, I think, the biggest thing with Dragon Quest 8 for me has been like, I've been wanting to replay Dragon Quest 8 for so long, but I would have to go find a copy, which are not cheap. I would have to also get a PlayStation 2, which shockingly aren't that cheap either.
No.
Um, and so then you have to go through that, just the hassle. Then it's like, all right, but then you also have to do the one thing. And I'm assuming you have so many analog TVs, this may not be as big of an issue for you.
Oh yeah, so
But
already.
you have to get even special adapters
Yes,
for,
yes.
audio inputs. Like that's, so there is multiple levels of barrier to play an original game like that. So I like when games do like the most recent Metal Gear Solid game did, where you can play the game in a more updated fashion, or you can kind of revert back, but it stayed relatively the same. I like that. I like those quality of life touches, that thing to make it feel fresh or not feel dated. I think like a remaster, something like that. Just like don't because playing something like I was replaying Bully the other day.
Oh yeah, Bully.
So
They
hard.
haven't done anything with
Yeah.
that.
I
Yeah.
mean, Rockstar historically does not care about doing any sort of remastering or anything of their work.
Yep.
But like, it was so hard to like get back in without feeling like, man, just the controls themselves suck. And it's a lot of that's just being dated. So like, if you can navigate that world, but also at the same time, I really love what they did with the RE4. But also I
Yeah.
can go and I have both versions of RE4 at my fingertips on my PlayStation at any point in time. I can play both versions. So I can still have that authentic experience alongside. So I do feel like there is give and take there. I think I feel more comfortable with it if and only if, maybe not only if, but if you cannot get like the barrier to entry to be able to play the original version is too difficult.
I think
Like,
that's a good counter argument to what I was saying because I didn't quite consider that because I sometimes the things I think about, like Final Fantasy VII was my example, but you can get Final Fantasy VII on a lot of platforms at this point, eShops or digitally,
right.
Steam, whatever. But that's a good point. Some games like Dragon Quest VII, maybe you can't play the original as easily. So the only thing people have access is maybe this changed version and not really have access to the original intent, I suppose. So it becomes like a preservation thing almost. So I can see your point there.
Yeah, and it's and that's one of those things where I feel like it's I would love for it to be different. I would love for, there to be a perfect world in which all of this stuff functions the way we want it to function, but the truth is we get what we get. And you know what we're not going to be getting, Josh? And that is any more physical media. So guess what? A
Wow, you're so
perfect
good at these
segue,
transitions.
right? A perfect segue off of the fact that we're telling you should invest in physical media when it's available because you won't be able to play it elsewhere. Guess what? Physical media is dying. This comes from Eurogamer. As PlayStation physical game sales drop, it's no wonder Sony is pushing digital only consoles. This is the article by Ed Nightingale, the deputy news editor at Eurogamer. He says sales of physical software accounted for just 3%
Oh
of
my god.
PlayStation sales last year, according to Sony's latest corporate report. Considering the company's total gaming division sales in 2024 was 4,670 million, so around 31.77 billion by today's conversion. Sony still has made around 953 million in physical software sales as a rough estimate. However, that number has dropped from 6% of sales back in 2020. It's no wonder why Sony's PS5 consoles are primarily digital only when fewer consumers are buying physical media or physical games, even with the option of a disc drive, or has there been a decline in physical games because of the digital only consoles? And with reports the PS6 will also be digital only with an optional disc drive, it's a trend that's only set to continue. There's more to the article if you want to go and check that out. Like I said, that's over on Eurogamer. So, Josh, as someone who, as we've discussed multiple
Yeah.
times now, loves your physical media. If you're watching us live, you
Yeah.
can see it in real time. If you're watching us by audio, put your ears on it. Listen in on it, like smell it in on you. He's got a lot of old things with presumably old smell.
Yeah, it does smell old. Yeah, the N64 games, Super Nintendo games, it's got that smell. This is really interesting, and I guess this is gonna be another bonus hot take, which is funny because I'm big on physical media. I'm big on playing it on,
Mhm.
like you were just saying, like playing on original. Okay, everyone went through their little emulation phase, I guess, but
Right.
the convenience. But after a while, I was like, you know what? I don't know. These games don't look right on like an LCD, and so I got more into like preserving the original media, the hardware, playing things like on the CRT or whatever. And so yeah, I have like a big physical media collection. I primarily try to collect Nintendo just because that's one of my favorites. But I have Xbox stuff, Sony stuff, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. I have like most consoles represented. The funny thing is, part of me is like, please put an end to maybe if you just stop physical media, then I could just
Right.
work on backlog and then it'll just be done. Like I would just be done. You know what I mean? Like so there's part of me that is kind of like wanting consoles to not have a physical option. As long as there's a physical option, I always feel like I have to buy it. And then sometimes I miss out. Like Donkey Kong, I wanted to play that at midnight. Everyone was playing at midnight, but I needed the physical copy. So
Mhm.
I'm not going to buy it twice, which I've done before, unfortunately. And so the next day I had to get my Donkey Kong physically. But part of me is like, if there was no physical option, like what would I have done? I would have just got it and played it with
Right.
everyone else. And so I'm torn. And so I think that it's inevitable because, like you're saying, the sales are just not there. You remember
Yeah.
when Microsoft tried to do this, and there's huge backlash on. They tried to make their console digital only, and people were just freaking out because they're saying like, "Oh, people don't have access to high speed internet," which is mostly true. A lot of people don't.
Right.
But what ended up happening is even on PlayStation, okay, when I bought my PS5, and then I bought the whatever disc I bought. I think it was Horizon or whatever. You put it in, it's like, oh, we got to download like 80 gigs or something. So even sometimes when you have the physical media, you're still having to download like all or half the game. And I know like Nintendo Switch 2 had a little bit of a controversy, which I think it evened out a little bit, but with some of the key cards just unlocking like a code or something or like a download of some sort. And so I
Mhm.
think even with some of this physical media, it's getting to the point where um, you know, there's not even the game in there or you have to download it. I do see a world where we're kind of moving towards where some they might offer collector's editions with no game. And you've already seen some editions come out.
Right. That's a brutal thing to say that you're just gonna have a steel
Yeah.
bookcase and
Yeah.
that's it.
It's
Just
been
a steel
happening.
bookcase.
When
What
Civilization 7 did it.
what's the like, as someone who also you can if you smell it, you can hear it in your ears, you can hear
Yep.
it back there. Um, that I too have a
Mhm.
massive physical collection. I'm over 2,000 films in my collection, and it's one of those things where I know that there's going to be a world in which physical media will die. I don't think it's going to impact TV and movies, maybe more movies than TV. But I don't know if it's going to impact this industry as much because of how die hard like the fan base is with boutique labels and things like that. Now, don't be wrong, there's still things like limited run and things like that who will do, physical releases of games. So you can still play them. But the problem is just think like, is limited run going to get the rights to do a very small printing of Assassin's Creed quadrilogy, some fucking, in 20 years? Like, are they going to get that? Like, I don't see Sony giving us, The Last of Us Part 18 and giving some small boutique label the access or the rights to publish that on physical media, or
Even
we're going to get
then,
to a point where you can't even play it.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The consoles won't even have an option to
Right.
play it. So,
That doesn't, yeah. So, and I think that's the thing is like with film and things like that, I think that is such a lower lift to get a DVD player than it is to play, buy an ever
yeah,
evolving 700, which as time progresses is going to be even more expensive. So no, I do think, it's sad as it is, I do think that physical media in video games, I think it's dead. Like maybe
it's
not this
it's so
year, but
bittersweet for me, and I agree with you. I think
yeah,
I'm just waiting. There's been rumors every year now that like the next one's not going to have it. The next one's not going to have it. PS5, that was a rumor with PS5 even, and
right.
they did it instead. Digital was cheaper, and so I do see it happening, and that's just so weird because like part of me is like a little part of me is relieved where I could just focus on maybe picking up just what I need and just being done, but it's still sad because I still also like the physical media for the accessibility reasons, and being able to play things that aren't removed. There have been games that have disappeared before. Scott Pilgrim versus the World was just gone,
Right,
and
yeah.
you just couldn't play it anymore.
Dude, I can tell
Uh,
you right now, I've got in my collection, in my movie collection right now,
yeah,
I have a physical copy of, are you ready for
yeah,
this?
I'm ready.
Courage the Cowardly Dog, the
Uh
box
huh.
set. Okay? You know the name.
Yep.
We all love this shit, right? You can't watch that anywhere right
Yep.
now. It's unless you have a physical copy, that show doesn't exist. That is how big. Don't get me wrong. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The game was, people loved the game when it came out, but like this is not like, we're at a point where we're losing titles as large as Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like, what the fuck?
I remember like there's even obscure stuff that Nickelodeon show, Pete and Pete. That
Yeah,
there's no, you can't get it anywhere. Like, it doesn't exist,
absolutely
and they
insane.
can't release it physically or anything. I think they
Yeah.
would even worked. They filmed like the behind the scenes, like the audio tracks for like the commentary tracks, and they just can't release it. So
So and there's some of those, and I do feel like there is definitely recognition taking place by people within the industry, at least in film. And like I said, television's its own different beast
yeah,
entirely, but film, I feel like you have a little bit
I think so.
of
It'll be
wiggle
around
room.
a little longer.
Video games is so complex and so expensive, and every aspect of it is just different than like, I think Sony, I will say this, I think Sony will release a disk drive for at least the PS6.
They're
I
gonna
would
do
even
that.
go as far as to say potentially 7, maybe even 8.
I believe it, but it's so that they avoid the headlines that there's this digital
I
only.
Well,
You
think
know.
about it. If you look at like right now what we have, it's like it's fucking well, let's see. It's like $100 for the disk drive, right? To get and it's a 4K player. So to get just a standard 4K player right now, it's still like $200+.
Mhm.
So it's half the price of getting a 4K player to get a 4K player that just attaches to your PlayStation.
Yeah.
The value's built in. And that's why, like, when I made the decision to get either a PlayStation or a 360, I got a
Yeah.
PlayStation for the Blu-ray
Oh,
player.
I remember it was
Yeah,
the format wars, right? In that moment,
right.
is it going to
And
be
that's why,
Blu-ray or
yeah,
whatever? What was the other thing? I don't even remember what the
DVD. It
other
was
thing called.
Blu-ray and DVD. Oh, Blu-ray and
Uh,
fuck.
the
Yes, I
Xbox
know.
one, whatever it was
Yeah, there
called.
was. Someone in the chat's gonna drop it. It's gonna be someone like fucking Coal Mines is gonna. It would be you. You would be the one
Yeah, I
next to
know,
Josh that
but
would have the
it's
name.
movies. They released like 10. Yeah,
HD
they,
DVD Sears Shard. Thank you.
yeah, they released like 10 movies or 12 movies, and then it was just
Right,
like, oh, never
right.
mind. They announced Blu-ray on this console. So
So yeah, so in that regard, I definitely am like, we're gonna get it. Like, we're gonna get to a point where like companies can't just afford to make movies like that, or it'll just be smaller films that'll get releases. But like, to this point in time, I think they're gonna continue to do it. The only thing that might cut into that is the how to adapt it onto a new console might be too much for them to put into R&D to do it. But outside of that, I foresee Sony. I don't see Microsoft goes digital next year. Like, I think Microsoft's so deep into the cloud, like
yeah,
they're just gonna have to do
I
a
think so.
cloud. You know, Cognitive Clips genuinely thought that HD DVD would emerge victorious. Cognitive Clips also believe that condom didn't have holes in it. Exclamation point. Kids, hold on. Let me hit the button.
I don't know if
Kids.
do you have that in here? Nope,
Bam. Nope. No fucking kids
nope,
in Spotlight. Nope. Not today.
not
Not
allowed.
today. Speaking of pissing people off, let's move on to the topic.
Ooh,
Topic.
ooh,
Topic of the show. What's the topic of the show? Hot takes.
hot takes,
Hot
hot
takes.
takes.
That's it. That's it. Add this bad boy. Hot takes. I could have done this whole
Oh, there
show.
you go.
Made my own. Hot takes. Josh, this is what happened. I reached out to Josh today. I said, Josh, we're gonna fucking work today. We're gonna do some work. We're gonna do some work. We have done a bang up job on Dido, pissing everyone off. I don't think there's a single person on the Dido staff that hasn't been threatened with some sort of permanent ending of our life. We've been doing a wonderful job of not staying in dangerous situations. And so we have pissed the internet off. And I said, you know what? Spotlight games should continue the trend and do just the same.
Patrick's
So
gone, so you're like, let's just get it all out there.
yeah, I told us that things are getting freaky today. He's lucky we even did news. But the topic of the show, which we've been holding on, which thank you for holding on all this way to the topic of the show. I hope you love the news, but the topic of the show is hot takes of 2025. We're about to crack into busy season. Actually, busy season, I say, was started with Borderlands 4. Borderlands 4 was, I think, the part where we kicked off busy season and started. We got Silent Hill up. We got a bunch of games I'm going to tell you about. They're going to be coming out later here when I do the calendar roundup in a bit. But a lot of games are coming out. And so I thought before those games come out, let's just talk about how shitty this fucking year has been from a standpoint that's not even related to outside of just video games. But wanted to drop some hot takes. Give me your worst. What is the worst opinion that you have? I polled the audience. So I got some shitty fucking opinions from those fucking guys. Our Discord's got the worst opinions. But I don't want to hear from Discord quite yet. I want to hear from you, Josh. Tell me, what is your first hot take of 2025?
I have a couple of I wrote down 5 really good ones. I mean, I could just rattle a list of a bunch off the top of my head. Now, do we want to build up to like, I have them in order?
Give me your worst. Give me your worst take at number 1. So let's start with your least spicy take.
Okay. This is a good one. I love microtransactions. All right.
Josh, I really hate that for you. So please tell me.
So let me tell you, we had a golden era of microtransactions where it was like a lot of cosmetic ones, loot boxes. I love it. Cracking open a pack, cracking open a loot box. We're talking Overwatch loot boxes. You click on the thing and drops down. What color item's gonna pop out? Blue, purple, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. You gamers with a capital G ruined it by complaining about microtransactions. And now what has everyone done? They've introduced, everyone has these battle passes. Battle passes are so lame. Battle passes are lame. And you guys complain so much about loot boxes that you forced all these companies to do battle passes where you already know what's in there. You're paying money and you can see through all the packs. There's no dopamine in knowing what I'm gonna get. Like, I don't care. Like, to get this thing, the battle pass, you just have to spend time and you'll guarantee to get this. That's no fun. That's no fun. I want random. I want rare skins, rare loot. I want chance.
That, buddy, can I just tell you right now? Yeah. I hate everything you just said.
That's why it's a hot take, Cayman.
I did some look of the hot takes. You got me there,
and that's my least hot take.
I wasn't that the least. It's only gonna get worse from here. I fucking. To sit up there, someone rip this immediately. Just sit up there in his horse, and he's just like, "Guess what, guys? Charge me more money. I'm not poor enough. Charge me more." You fucking milked. You're milked like a cow, Josh. Milked like a cow. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's bring in one from the chat because let me tell you, there's some ones in here. So we'll start off with Coal Mines. Coal Mines says releasing a new edition that's just 10 collectible cards and a steelbook for $60 is an ass deal for fans. Sell packs for like $4. Coal Mines, gonna just throw this out there. Not even sure that that's a hot take. I think we're all on board with you that fucking sucks. That they're ripping us off. We're getting ripped off. Special editions of things are ripping us off. I don't think there's a world in which that's not incorrect.
I agree.
It sucks. You know what else sucks?
Is this one of your hot takes?
This is my hot take.
Okay, here we go.
My hot take. Mario Kart World proves Mario Kart needs to be retired.
No, that is a hot take. No.
Here's the thing. Look, I've got a take coming in later that I think brings this about, but like, I know that people enjoyed Mario Kart World. I have never seen a Mario game outside of maybe the Olympics fall off as hard as Mario Kart World. So bad to the point that I've still seen people play Mario Kart 8 to like just be like, it's so it does make me think that like I think Mario Kart needs to either take time off or needs to be completely rebuilt from the foundation up. And my thought, if you said, Dumpster Boy, we want you to fix Mario Kart, I would tell you the way to do that is that you need to turn it into Smash Bros. It just needs to be Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I'm with you on this.
Mario Kart.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The reason why they haven't done it blows my fucking mind, but it would just be limitless amounts of people playing all the fucking time. And it's a missed opportunity that I don't even know what to say. It baffles me. Speaking of baffling, Joshua, is Josh is the UA technically?
I could just go with the Josh,
Are you just Josh?
I'm just joshing.
Or is this your full name,
Yeah,
Joshua?
it's Joshua technically.
Joshua.
Yeah. Final Fantasy.
Joshua.
Yeah.
Let's just do that this whole show. I'm
Yeah,
not
he
Patrick.
should.
He's got a good one.
Yeah, he
Tell me
does.
though. Tell me what's your next hot take, brother?
Okay. How should I put this? Let's
Terribly, I hope.
my hot take
Mm-hmm.
is that I'm just think of a summary way, like a good way to say this.
So I could type it out on a banner. You're absolutely correct. Because war faces are being attached to this.
Sony fans are
Okay.
irritating.
Brother, we all know that.
It's not hot. It's not a hot take.
That is the
This is not
that
a
is
least hot take. This is least this
This
work.
is not a, I don't know if like, I mean, I guess it's a hot take because people are like, oh, it like, I don't know. I say it's like a hot take. I think it's maybe the only person that would take it as a hot take would be a Sony fan, would be like, how dare you?
Yeah,
Because
but
then
you can
they
say
would,
about anyone. Let me
right. They would
explain.
tell me why though. Why do you say
Here's the
that
thing.
over someone else?
This is funny because like when when I grew up, you have the console wars. You're like, you're a Nintendo kid, and I'm a Nintendo kid. I'm like, no, Sonic is evil or Crash Bandicoot's evil or like whatever. At this point, it doesn't matter to me. I have them all. But a lot of times I'll revert back to maybe defending the Nintendo kind of thing because I see a lot of Sony, especially these days in 2025. You got a lot of Sony fans who, okay, they'll sit there and they'll say, well, the Switch sucks. Nintendo sucks
Right.
because the Switch is so inferior because, well, it's a handheld that you can put in your console. That's compromised. And then they'll get the news that
Sure.
Sony's about to working on a handheld, and they're like, oh my gosh, they just invented a
Mm,
handheld that
right.
can be a console and dock it, and it can be a console. Sony is so smart. Sony is so brilliant. And this happens like over and over again on a loop. They just think that Sony, like, I triggered some people in my last piece of content. It was intentional rage bait, but I kind of took a stab at
I love this.
Astrobot.
Yeah, continue. Oh,
My
come
yeah,
on.
yeah. Hey,
You
listen,
can't take a
I
stab.
did a little video, or it was a slideshow of games that I have bought but not played yet, and so they're unopened. And the last one was Astrobot, which I do own, but I haven't opened it. And I was mentioning how, you know, a lot of Sony fans, it was a little bit of a troll, but Sony fans will say that Nintendo just only people like Nintendo because it's just they just play off your nostalgia and blah 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 blah, and then they'll nominate Astrobot for Goat of the Year because it has all these PlayStation nostalgia things in it and blah 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 blah. And so the double standard with Sony people just drives me crazy. And I am a Sony fan myself. I like Sony properties as well, but you can't be having that double standard. So you'll see me take the Nintendo defense stance a lot, even though Nintendo fans are almost more ridiculous, but what can you do?
Right. No, I mean, I suppose that's fair. Look, I'll settle with you. I'll settle with you by saying that I think all fans are terrible. I feel like if you play video games in general, you're just a bad
You're
person.
probably right.
You're just a bad person. And speaking of being a bad person,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and go next here. My hot take is the best 3 games of the year were by devs that you don't know and cost less than an average game.
No, I'm intrigued. So, hey, like my last hot take, this one doesn't seem that hot initially, but so
It
I
doesn't. It
need to
doesn't,
hear a
but I
little
feel
more.
like people are gonna be like maybe a little spicy with me when I say that like Blueprints,
Hmm?
Expedition 33, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 are arguably, at least from my perspective, the 2 best games or the 3 best, at least coming into this point of the year, outside of maybe Donkey Kong. And I'll set Donkey Kong aside because I haven't personally played it. So I don't want to speak on Donkey Kong. But what I will say is like, and Silk Song just get fucked. I've watched enough video of that game to tell you right now, absolutely good. I would fucking just hate that game with a passion. But those 3 games cost less than a full price AAA game and are the top games that I feel like are going to, and I feel like that they will all land in the top 3 of, they will be in the game of the year contender. I do think that Deliverance Kingdom Come was going to sneak in. I think that game has a lot more weight
Interesting.
behind it than people actually think. And
Yeah,
because I don't
I
think a
don't
lot of
perceive it as
people
being
played
like
it.
like loud, like people loud about it, but I know like the people who do like it are like really stand by it.
Well, it also reviewed incredibly well,
Yep. Yep.
and it's like a sleeper, and critics are kind of those people that like because it's one of those games, and I always stand by this, is that Game of the Year winners or the ones that I always say are going to be the ones that make it in. Like you're always going to have your you're going to have your Donkey Kong this year, regardless of whether it wins any awards, but you will. You'll probably even have maybe have Silk Song. I don't know. But they love games that do one of two things. That either master and perfect the genre that it's in, or it's so wildly different than anything you've played that it just stands so far apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does both of those, where like it is one of the best sims you'll ever play, but it is also one of the most different types of games that you'll ever play. Because of like it is not an RPG as much as it is like a hardcore simulator.
Yeah.
But it's done in a way that is approachable for people who do not know or cannot play a hardcore simulator. So like it's unique. I think it's there. That's my hot take. Any
Okay, I'll give it
feelings?
to
Any
you. I'll
feelings
give it to you.
with that? Did you play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2?
I haven't played it, but I did watch some streams of it because, like you said, it's such a simulation that people were like almost like role play, like streaming it, like
Right.
acting like they're a farmer or like whatever, just doing different things. And so,
Yeah.
and then I saw a lot of the coverage, especially about like the script length is like giant.
It's
Just like,
insane.
and the first one
Insane.
was big too, and this one's even bigger. And
Right.
so, that one's one of those ones that's like I said, I have to be careful when I start to play because I think that one I could see myself playing for a long time.
It's worth it.
And
So
so I
worth
think
it.
your take, I think maybe like with the Spotlight Games audience, a lot of people probably agree with you, but I could see that in the bigger sphere, the gaming sphere, that it would be probably a hot take as far as like, because a lot of people just play
A
the big
normie
hits.
would kick
Yeah.
me in the
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. They just play the
Just
big ones.
immediately fucking just absolutely just crush them. It'd just be like, "Are you fucking nerd?" And then like just
Yeah.
like a bully in high school. If
Yeah. Yeah.
some dude who is like just plays games casually heard me say that, I would get picked on. Deservedly so.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting picked on, Dan Goodshow had a hot take.
Oh, uh-oh. Oh no. Can't even speak. So for the audio listeners, Dan Goodshow, Cayman can't get it together. Dan Goodshow's
Sorry.
hot take is Concord deserved better. Wow.
What, brother?
Might be the
Okay,
only
I
player.
look as someone who played the beta of Concord. Concord existed. Concord was a game that wasn't terrible. But to charge anyone money for that in today's landscape was a fucking war crime.
Serious Shard said Concord was canceled before I even knew what it was.
That is honestly 100% correct. Absolutely say so.
That's a good
Okay,
hot take. I'd say that's a hot take.
that
Yeah,
is definitely a
that's
hot take. Let's open the floor back up to you, Josh. I
Okay,
want to
I
get
gotta give you a
another
good
hot
one.
take
I gotta
from
give you
you.
a good one since
Give me a
okay,
good one.
got a good one. This I don't know. This could go either way with you. I don't know. You might
Oh,
really not agree with this one, so this could be a hot take. It applies honestly. This extends to other forms of media as well. I'm talking about games, but this could
mm-hmm.
apply towards really anything. I think review scores are stupid. I think review scores are stupid. Let me tell you because and this is funny because I give review scores sometimes because that's the world we live in. That's the system we live in. But especially for like variety kind of even spotlight games or drop and drop out or JK games, or even myself, I play like a variety of things. To give a review score is so arbitrary and so ridiculous. And so the fact
Right.
that people's jobs and livelihoods relies on Cayman sitting here and issuing a review score and it going on Open Critic and then a suit person seeing that and deciding that that's what's going to close a studio down or not is absolutely absurd. Review
Correct.
scores like how are you gonna Gran Turismo 7, this is a racing sim, that's gonna be an 8 out of 10. Oh, 8, that's such a good score. Oh my gosh. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, this medieval simulator game, that's gonna be a 9 out of 10. But compare that to the racing game, but compare that to this indie game over here, but compare that to why is an 8 the same on every genre, on every game? Why is a 6 considered bad? Why is a 6 close the studio down? Why is that bad? Doesn't make any sense. The whole system. just flame the whole system, throw it all in the trash. It doesn't even make any sense.
You know what? I'm actually going to stand with you on this. As someone who comes on and does these things like this, I think I don't disagree with you there. I think review scores at this point are arbitrary. I think
Yes.
that it's better for you to go in. I do understand, like, because the truth is, okay, let's say this. When I walk through and I'm like looking at review scores of Hollow Knight Silksong, and they're all because I got Fantasy Critic on it, so I got like a shit ton of points because it's reviewed incredibly well. I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna play this game. Then I watched like an hour of it and was like, cool. Doesn't matter what the review score is, I'm never gonna touch this because that is not the game for me. And so I think it's better to have visual experience, take some time, read someone's words. I
Yes.
always advise to find someone who has a very similar play
Mhm.
style to you or taste as you and listen to what they say. You're going to get much more from that than what an open critic score looks like. Just
And I agree. A
plain and simple.
review, I agree that the reviews are important. I'm specifically on the score for sure. Like a
Yeah. Oh,
review, the words,
reviews.
people's opinion. Yes.
Yes,
A
the words are
score.
yes, the scores are unnecessary. I remember when people lost their shit when IGN was like, we're no longer doing points. It's just either it's a solid number. People got furious over that. It's like just let it go, let it go. I'm gonna go ahead and drop one too. We're gonna kind of think good job. We're gonna pick it up because they're gonna get a little bit goosey, loosey coming
Goosey.
through here. So let me go ahead. I'll drop this one. This one will be quick. Okay. I'll tell you right now. This is going to be a quick one. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Split Fiction was cool for a couple weeks, then I forgot about it.
Ooh. I
I misspelled. I forgot to put the about it part on it on the Chiron. But you know what? Here's the truth. Split Fiction was a really fun game. It was really fucking cool with great ideas. And then I absolutely don't remember anything about it. And arguably, It Takes Two is just a significantly better game, I think, across the board. So it's not gonna. I don't think Split Fiction is gonna make it in my top 5 at the end of the year. I
You
just
know, it's
don't think
funny.
it.
I was excited about this because I also do book content, and so I was like, "Oh, this is perfect. This is like a game that's like, it's like an author, fantasy, sci-fi." I was excited about this, and because of like people like you playing it and other people playing it, and just kind of being like, "This is way too long," and it overstays its welcome. I was like, you know what? I didn't even try it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. I just wish it was different. I just wish the world was different. All right, Josh, give me one of yours, please.
You know what? Let's go. I'm gonna give you one of my best hot takes. Let's get
Okay,
this is I'm gonna rant about this.
give me.
Okay, listen. This is a good one. This will get me in trouble.
I love to hear that.
This is one of I've expressed this before, maybe not on air anywhere. From Software is the most overrated gaming company in existence right now. Let me tell you, people, if this is the emperor's clothes like all over again, people just want to be cool and act like because it's so hard, and if they have any criticism over a FromSoft game, that it means they're not a good gamer or something, and so everyone's just
Correct.
going to give it tens, and especially reviewers, because a reviewer can't give it less than a 10 or a 9 because it's going to sound like they don't understand the artistry behind it, they don't understand the director's intent. Miyazaki just loves punishment, and so if you give it a 9 or an 8, you're not a good gamer, and your career's over as a game journalist. And so they just issue these blanket good ratings and reviews out. From Software, go ahead and pull up their whole gaming library. Bad game, bad game, bad game, horrible game. These were
Correct.
not skilled developers. They didn't know much about game design. Armored Core, all these old PlayStation games, horrible. Demon Souls, no exception, terrible game, right? So they're making all these bad games. This got popular because people in the West remember the original like Dark Souls and stuff. It never came out in the US because the game sucked and none of the US publishers want to touch it. It got popular because some people ironically were playing it because it
Correct.
was funny how bad the game was. And so they just started playing it as a meme. And other people saw that and just started watching it as like a meme game that, oh, look how poorly designed this game is. And then all of a sudden, suddenly it just went from that to being like a cool game that you had to play, to the point where now they had all this money and they just got to crank out the same poorly made game and then lean into it. Now Miyazaki, he just leans into it like, oh, I intentionally designed the frame rate to go down so that it's like hard to hit the enemies in these parts. Oh, actually, I just love when like the player just is so frustrated because the game design doesn't explain like what's going to happen next, and they just die over and over again. This is just him just riding it to the bank. I respect that about him, actually, that he just plays into it.
You know what?
But
I
no
don't
one can
respect
see it.
that
No one
about
can
him.
see it. No one can see it. I feel like
Do
I'm
not
crazy.
respect him. I will say this. I played and platinumed Elden Ring just to tell people, get good, get fucked. Is it a cool game? Yes. Is it a fun game? Yes. But they are not this fucking be all end all bull. Get fucked. Absolutely out of here.
I didn't platinum it. I also played and beat Elden Ring as a hater because I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna put whatever you say, the money where the mouth is, whatever.
Right.
I'm going to play this and beat it because everyone's saying this is like the best game ever made. There's some positive things about it. Like I can find positive things about it, but it's overrated. Just because something's overrated doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. And the fact that it's laughable. This is a side tangent hot take, but the fact that they pulled in George R. R. Martin, like, look, we pulled in George R. R. Martin. Oh yeah, the other massively overrated person in fantasy. Like I read all the Song of Ice and Fire books, Game of Thrones for you TV watchers, and those books are overrated. You guys don't know what you're talking about. And so the fact that they pulled in this massive fantasy writer, I'm just laughing because yeah, you pulled in the guy who came in finish a story to help with your story, and then you play Elden Ring. There's no story. You got to read like items, the curled finger or whatever.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Absolute,
what an amazing story.
Absolute fucking dog shit. It's one of those things. Just absolute. You know what? If you want to hear my opinion on that, literally listen to every episode of Spotlight Games since that game came out. I talk about it. It lives rent free in my head.
So I knew Patrick's in here. I knew Patrick shared my opinion. I didn't know you also were like on board with that.
Patrick says, I fucking hated it, but objectively, I can see how it's at least good. Yes, that's exactly how it fucking goes. Let's get one of ours in from the audience. I feel like this is a fun one to drop after coming off the heels of the Elden Ring talk. Let's talk about Breath of the Wild. Megatron says, I think Breath of the Wild is one of the most overrated games I have ever played, and it doesn't even get a spot on my top 250 games. Megatron, you and I are cut from the same cloth.
This is a hot take.
I am with you there. Tears of the Kingdom, fucking fantastic. Breath of the Wild, suck my donkey balls.
That's so interesting. This is a good hot take.
Lost.
I don't agree.
Lost.
This is what
Tell me why you don't
this.
agree with this.
I deserve this for slamming on Elden Ring. Now, actually, as a Zelda game, I can agree that it's just like maybe not the best Zelda game because whatever. But to not be in just an overall top 250 games list, I'm shocked actually because I think I mean people have different tastes in games. I just sat here just slamming some of people's favorite FromSoft games, and now I'm in the hot seat. But I think just from the especially games as art and taking the context of when that game came out and like the games around it, I could see now maybe it doesn't age the best, especially compared to Tears of the Kingdom. But the context of when it came out, the reimagining of this kind of open world adventure sandbox physics based kind of adventure game, you can beat it at any moment when you feel ready, and the whole gameplay loop is just about like emergent gameplay, basically upgrading your stats enough to whenever you're comfortable enough to beat the boss, the exploration where there's something to explore around every corner, etc. like that. I think that it's a compelling game. It might not be your cup of tea, but to not be in a top 250 list is pretty interesting. That's a good hot take. What about you?
There's a good question here. Patrick asked from the chat. He asked, I'm so curious if Breath of the Wild came out in 2023.
I think that's a good point.
Tears of the Kingdom, if it would have been as beloved, or if it was right place, right time to leave.
I think so. I think it's that.
Yeah, I think it was right place, right time. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and drop my next hot take. Okay. And guess what? It's also about Nintendo.
Okay.
They still fucking hate you. Nintendo still hates you. There's just no question about it. They still hate you. Oh, you got a Donkey Kong game this year? They still hate you. Oh, you're going to get to play Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 again? Guess what? They still hate you. okay, let me just take a step back. I probably need to get some. They just hate you. They just hate you. Every little thing about Nintendo hates you. Every little thing. They hate you. And I think Nintendo fans, you need to recognize that they hate you. I will now step down from my soapbox as the Nintendo apologist on the podcast right
I've
now.
called myself
Josh,
that.
tell me how I'm wrong.
The funny thing is, this will plan to. I'll save my hot take after this because I was laughing when you said this because it plays in. It's related to one I have, but I did use a joke. I want to do a bit called the Wheel of Pain because it does seem like sometimes Nintendo, there's like a bunch of suits in a conference room, right? And they like design this masterpiece of a game, whatever the game is. You can pick any Nintendo game, Donkey Kong, Mario Odyssey, whatever. Look, we got here. It is the whole game right here on this whiteboard. And they're like, hold on. They're like, wait. And they're all in the suits. Like, bring out the Wheel of Pain. You forgot the Wheel of Pain. Oh yeah, okay. And then they bring out this wheel and they got to spin it, and it'll be like some bogus thing like no multiplayer mode or like some goofy some goofy aspect that just messes the game up, and it's like they're forced to add it in there. So
they hate you. I just don't
saying.
understand how you guys can't recognize that you're in a traumatic relationship with Nintendo. Nintendo has been gaslighting you for decades at this point.
They're charging $50 per amiibo on the new ones. Guess what? Who's buying them? Me.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to you need to seek help. You need to seek help. Josh, you need it. Okay. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the floor, Josh. I think let's see. After this one, you've got one more, right? Or is this your last one?
Well, I moved some stuff around. I moved from soft to that, but I have one related to this. My last one that I have is related to yours.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's not the hot take aspect. I'll have to explain it a little bit, but what I wrote down as like my headline is Nintendo's not the worst game company. That's my hot take. So when you said Nintendo hates you, I thought that was so funny.
Wait, is this going to be your next hot take?
This is my hot take. Nintendo is not the worst game company, and let me explain a little bit of context. So it's hard for me to put that into like a one-liner. As I said, been doing some content, and I really hit a nerve with some of this amiibo content I've been doing, and I've been getting a lot of Caymans in there, right, saying, "Oh, Nintendo hates you. Why are you supporting them? Nintendo, I don't like their business practice. They're patenting whatever, they're patenting, there's a bunch of articles about them patenting stuff, and they're so legal heavy. They sue people. I don't support Nintendo anymore after what they're doing with all this stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." Right? Okay. Not that actually, I'm not saying I disagree with that necessarily, but my point is Sony and Microsoft are just as bad. These are publicly traded companies. None of these companies, this is how we're going to end this hot take kind of a thing with me. None of these companies like you. Sony hates you. Microsoft hates you. They hate their employees. They're firing 10,000 people at a time. Video games are made in the most toxic industry known to man. If you're purchasing a video game, you're supporting a horrible industry. And we're over here talking about it like excitedly. And so I realized there's like a lot of cognitive dissonance with that. But like the fact that people will say like I'm not supporting Nintendo anymore because they sue people or they have they patent this or whatever, but you're still going to play a Sony game or a Microsoft game. They do just as much bad, evil, publicly traded company stuff as Nintendo does. It's all the same.
Fair. That's sadly fair.
So that's my actual hot take rant about it.
Is that your last? Hold on, is that your last hot take?
That was 5.
Do you have one more in you?
Because sure.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you. I got a little gourded before the episode, and I definitely wrote 6 hot takes.
That's fine.
We're now going to change it. We're doing 6 hot takes. Before we do our last or my 5th hot take, let me go ahead and give you one more hot take from the audience. There's, like I said, our audience has some mental health issues, I believe, is the only way to explain it. And you know what? I think for the most part, we're right there with them. But here's a thing that someone in the audience said. Cog, people only tout blueprints for Game of the Year because they want to sound smart.
No.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So that felt like shots fired.
That's shots fired.
That feels like
sure.
someone
That's
is
personal.
coming directly for another member of the audience and or another cast member on this show. Um, we won't say who, but maybe we'll get to their hot take in a minute because that's what set this whole chain of events off. So let me go ahead. All right. So we've got that in. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I don't even know how to put this on the Chiron. It's a year of games for no one.
Oh, okay.
And let me tell you what I
2025. You're talking
mean
about
by that.
2025.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Is that there is not, I think, a single game that has come out this year that will go down as the game of 2025 as of this point.
Wow.
This can change. And someone says, okay, Donkey Kong came in. No. And let me tell you why. And that is that, yes, the Switch 2 has had a great adoption rate. The Switch 2 is not in everyone's hands. And I think because that the game just came out, or like on this console that just is here, that like it will be the favorite game for a lot of people. What I had originally written is this year will be known as the year with many different games that different people love, but not a single game that everyone loves. And so I
Hmm.
think that you're going to have where it's like you will have your Silksong
I can see
fans,
what you're
you will
saying.
have your Blueprints fans,
Okay.
your Expedition 33 fans,
Yeah.
your shooter fans are probably going to even be like fucking Borderlands is great this year. And it will be known as games, even Mafia, the old country, I think is going to be full of this year's full of games that I think people will be like, I really love this game from this year. This was my game of the year. And then the next four people standing next to them will have a different game of the year. And I
You're
think
saying,
that's
yeah,
great.
it's more
I
pocketed, like with the
right.
communities, like
We
in,
don't
you know,
have a Mario
I
Odyssey.
see
We
what you're
don't
saying.
have
It's
a
not just one or
right.
two games where everyone's just gonna be like, "Yep, it's this."
Right.
Yeah,
We don't this year. There's no standout clear winner of like this is arguably the front runner. Maybe one could
I
say
can see.
like Expedition 33. I definitely think that that's probably at the top right now, but Blueprints very much has a chance to dethrone it. Like, and that's I think what's so wild this year. There's a lot of really good games that are just for different audiences. And that's, I think, what's really cool about that. I'm going to go ahead and drop in the last of our audience,
Uh,
our last audience submissions, because I do think that this is a very good time to cover another game that I just talked about, and another game that we haven't yet is from Patrick. He says Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, is a better game than Claire Obscure Expedition 33. This is what set off the chain of events. And in the middle of the show, Cog, one of the cast members on Dido and fan, lurker in the chat at every moment of the day, was like, get in Discord. And I got in, there's like 150 people screaming at each other right now. The goal of the episode was just to cause bloodshed.
you
And
did
we
it.
fucking
You
got
did
it.
it. You did it.
We
Who
fucking
knew?
got it.
Who knew?
And so here we go. Claire Obscure officially ruled out as not as good as Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. Thoughts on that, Josh? Do you think
I
this is
I
a hot
have both
take?
games. I love both games. This is a hot take. There's no way. There's no way. Because I mean, we don't have to go into it, but Expedition 33 is maybe in my top 5 all time. Fantasy Life I
Incredible.
enjoy. It's a good game. It's
This so
my
bad.
top 20 probably. So,
I
wild.
love it so much that this just you know what, Patrick, you're not allowed on there. Even if
Yeah,
you
he's not
got in
allowed.
right
You're not
now,
allowed.
block you from
Blocked.
talking about unless you were shirtless, which he has done that before, just jumped into the middle of an episode without a shirt on. I would end stream right then and there. I would end the stream, not even kidding. No, I would let that fucking fucker play out. Josh, we're bringing it, we're rounding out with 6 because
Well,
we decided, you know what, fuck it, a baker's dozen, right? 6.
it depends on
So
If you want the bloodbath, I mean, I could get in trouble for this one.
I am ready for your hottest
This
take
is
because
bad.
I'm about to deliver something
Ooh,
just as bad.
this one's
Probably.
bad. This one's really bad. I think games are too cheap.
Okay, you know
This
what?
one's
I
bad.
don't think I'll ever be able to
This
top
one's
that.
bad.
How
Games are
the
too cheap.
fuck
Oh,
did
this
you
one's bad.
surmise?
This one's bad. This
You know
is
what?
bad. Listen.
You know
Okay.
what? You feel free to
Listen.
defend
My
yourself. The
whole life,
audience is coming for you.
I've been playing games my whole life. I Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on N64 came out what, 1997? I paid $79 for it in 1997. Games have been $60, 50, sometimes they're 50. Games have been $60. Console games have been $60 my entire life. What else in life has remained at that stable rate of inflation? Nothing. Nothing has. Nothing. And so now games are more expensive to make. You have teams of 400 people. Yes, the profits are going the wrong place. I understand how all that works. Okay. It's going to Bobby Kodak's pocket, whatever. Yeah, that's
Right.
wrong. But you can't both want triple A games and also just want to pay like $40 for them. I'm sorry. Because the price of games have not changed. And this is the argument that the suits make. I realize that, but of course the money, I understand. Yeah, the money goes the wrong place. But the price of games hasn't changed for 30 years, essentially. And so everything else in life has gone up.
Look,
And the cost of
if
things has gone up.
Surshard, he
Studio
says
costs has
read.
gone up.
Yeah,
You
Surshard says
distribute video game wealth,
redistribute.
yes, for
Yeah,
absolutely.
100% correct.
And so
Everyone
my
else
take
said to go fuck yourself in the chat. So
now I will say I'll add some asterisks to this. I don't think
okay,
every game should just be $60 or $50 or whatever. And so I play a lot of indie games, and I appreciate like on Steam or different marketplaces, you can get games that are $10, you can get games that are $15. This ties back to the review score thing. For some reason, games value is tied to the how much they cost, or what a game is, how good a game is tied to how much it costs. So if a studio wants to release a $30 game, you guys want cheap games. If you know what happens if a studio releases a $30 games, you all say, well, game must suck, and then you don't want to play it. So
that
what
is
do you
accurate.
want?
Yeah,
This is my hot
yeah.
take. I'm
Well,
going after everyone.
yeah. You know what? I'll have to give you some credit there, Josh. Is that uh, you're not incorrect. Gamers suck, I think, is the coldest. Well, not a cold take. That's not. It's just a very. That is the most lukewarm take. Is just to say that we as a conglomerate hobbyist group is terrible. We are awful, but games are too cheap, Josh. Like I said, I don't think that you're wrong. I don't think that you're right. I do think that Heartless99 is in the chat, and we haven't seen that face in a long time. So glad that you're here, man. As well as everyone else, Sirius Shard, Coal Mines, Patrick, Kayla, Cog out in the chat, holding it down for us the whole night. You
Yes,
guys have
thank
been our
you.
lifeblood. I'm gonna round out
Yeah, let's hear it.
the worst take.
Okay.
Worst take? We'll see. We'll see. Microsoft has had a worse year than Sony.
Ooh.
And you're going to probably think, all right, Sony Pony, jump up on there and give us your goddamn explanation. Here's the thing. So Microsoft has released a lot of games that people were very excited about. And none of those games turned out to be what anyone was hoping they'd be. Avowed fell off the radar immediately after getting like critically med. South of Midnight, the exact same thing. Civilization absolutely fucking toasted. They got blistered all year for leaks, internal. Phil Spencer for saying dumb shit. Microsoft was putting out everything that they could put out. Sony did absolutely nothing. And honestly, all it did this year was make Microsoft look like they don't know what they're doing. Sony had to do absolutely nothing to be like, yeah, we're just not going to do anything this year. And Microsoft's over here like, this is our year to capitalize. Fumbled the bag so hard. The only thing you can do is look at them and just be like, you met the expectation we had for you, which was that you don't know what you're doing. And that is that. And I will stand by this take And I know Cogs in the chat yelling at me that Sony hasn't released a game this year. That's the fucking point. That's the point.
He's saying even with them doing nothing, it
Yes,
just makes
that's the
Microsoft
point.
looks incompetent.
It's because Microsoft, this was Sony. Okay, look at
That's
it
a
like
good
this.
hot take. Yeah, this is good.
Just imagine you're at a race, right? And your competition is stretching and the gun goes off. And instead of you getting a head start, you just fucking face plant. No one's laughing at the dude that's still stretching when the gun goes off. They're laughing at your ass because your face is in the ground. That's what
That's a
Microsoft
stupid
did.
analogy. And it's funny like, too, because it's not just this year. This has been a long buildup because they acquired all these studios and like, well, it's just taking us time. They got to make these games. It's taking us time. So then finally, you get to 2025. It's like boom, 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 and it's like, well, okay, now what? What do you got next year?
Here's a couple of things. There's one moment in which I think this could potentially fall apart. And that is Patrick says it was a huge fumble by Microsoft, but still better than Sony. I'd say again until Yote. So here's the thing: if Yote comes out and becomes Game of the Year contender, absolutely, Microsoft write this year off as a loss. And this was a year you could not lose. I do also just want to point out that Rabbit 128 in the chat says came in spitting, and
there you go.
Believe me, he's not talking about the words coming out of my mouth right now. There's other things that he does. So here's the thing. Those are, I would say, that is, to me, that's my hottest take. I know people are going to be upset about that. I know people are going to get all like up, ooey, ooey. But here's the thing. The year's not over yet. There's still more hot takes that we could go through. And so if you would oblige me, Josh, I would like to go ahead and just run through some quick calendar updates to give people some updates because I think that this is important. I think we need to know. And I feel like Patrick forgets to do this all the time. So we're going to go back in time to yesterday. Lego Voyagers came out on the PlayStation 5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. That's the new Lego co-op game. Very excited to play that myself. On PC, we had Voyagers of Nera. On PlayStation 5, Switch, PC, Class, and those are both yesterday. September 18th, we're getting Class of Heroes 3 remastered. We're getting Emotionless, The Last Ticket. We are getting Frostpunk 2.
Oh, yeah.
We're also getting My Child of Ages. That's all on September 8th.
Oh.
Big release, two big names in that one. Frostpunk 2.
I forgot about Frostpunk 2.
And Labyrinthine, I know, is a big puzzle game. So those are big ones. I don't know anything about My Child of Ages. However, it doesn't end there. Another huge release on the horizon. Two huge releases on the horizon. One, this isn't it. Trails in the Sky first chapter is coming out September 19th. However, same day, we're also getting Dying Light, the Beast, huge release. And we're also getting Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree on September 19th. Both of those games all of these games are coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox, Switch, etc. Dying Light the Beast not coming to Switch. Next up we got a few games on September 23rd. We've got Agatha Christie, Death on the Nile, House of Tesla, and Slime Rancher 2, which if you've never played Slime Rancher, fucking go play it before Slime Rancher 2.
I think it's like $4 or something.
Yeah, it's not. You can get that game for so cheap. Yeah. And let me tell you right now, Slime Rancher is so much fucking fun, especially if you're a cozy gamer. Great cozy game. So very much looking forward to Slime Rancher 2. On September 25th, we get Consume Me. We get Hades 2 Nintendo Switch 2 edition, Silent Hill F, Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Oh my God. This month is popping the absolute fuck off, Josh. Absolutely off. Of those three, which one are you the most excited for?
Silent Hill F. I'm ready to get back into it.
Really?
Yeah,
I think Hades?
No, I do like Hades, but it's weird it's been in early access. I have mixed feelings about that because it kind of takes some of the excitement out for me where it's like you can kind of play it this whole time. And it's like, oh, now it's out, but it's like, it's kind of been out. I just think Silent Hill F, because I love Silent Hill 2, 1 and 2, really. And so ever since then, though, like nothing good. And I don't know. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah. I mean, I can't necessarily disagree with that. I didn't play 2, and the truth is I didn't really even think too much to be like wanting to play 2. I've played it so many times before. It didn't really feel I'll get around to it when it's on sale. Like, I'm excited to play it
Sure.
eventually at some point, but
Yeah.
I'm there with you. If you're a nerd, guess what? On September 26th, you can play Atelier Resleriana, the Red Alchemist and the White Guardian.
If you want fantasy game critic points, just put those kind of games on there. You get
Yeah,
points.
those I've never played one. I've don't. There's a billion of those type
Yeah,
of
there's a ton.
Atelier games.
Yeah.
I just like don't know where to go. Also on September 26th, we get EA Sports FC 26 for all of our soccer fans. Sorry, football fans. I think soccer fans. And if you're Jake Twitchin, you can also play Pac-Man World 2 Repack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the only person that's pre-ordered that game, Jake Twitchin. His head's kind of shaped like Pac-Man,
You're
actually.
right.
Can anybody in the chat can give me can we get an emoji where it's just Jake Twitchin's head like photoshopped out to be Pac-Man?
I'm sure Coal Mines has it.
Gobbling up. You can add some gobbling up if you want to. All right, then we're gonna round out the month on September 30th. We are starting off the day with Alien Rogue Incursion Part 1: Evolved Edition, Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, Lego Party, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and then lastly, one of my most anticipated games coming out of Gamescom, Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny.
Hey.
And I am actually not joking when I say that.
I saw the game.
I love those Diablo style kind of things, like that. The Diablo style get goofy, get like the Ultimate Alliance games.
Mm-hmm.
Like those were like we don't get those anymore. So getting a Nicktoons version
That's
just
cool,
sounds fun.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. Well, guys, that rounds out the month of September. If you tune in next week, there's a great chance that Patrick won't do that. So save that, log that,
shots
clip
fired.
it, whatever. This whole episode's been about shots
You're right.
being fired. And this, is what it is. Look, the week is this episode's over, Josh.
That's it. We made it.
We did it. We survived it. Honestly, I think we put on a good show.
We probably didn't. We'll see if we survive the aftermath.
That's a good question. Probably not. I'm really nervous to look at Discord here in a moment. But wonderful episode, man. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I know it's kind of a short notice.
No, yeah, thanks
really
for having me. I had fun.
About our
hot
episode.
Takes.
Dude, we have the worst hot takes that you can possibly think of. That's just what we're here for. And so do want to just go ahead and tell you, if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, share, or we will hunt you down. We won't hunt you down. I am far too broken and far too lazy to do any sort of physical activity like that. Join us on Discord, where if you can join in on beating the hell out of Josh and our emotional well-being should be damaged tonight.
Yeah.
I had an absolute blast. Josh, do you want to go ahead and just tell the people at home where we can find you, and we'll get this show on the road?
Yeah, it's just High Score Weekly, pretty much everywhere. All the normal socials, TikTok, Instagram mostly, but everywhere else too. High Score Weekly.
High Score Weekly.
Yeah.
High Score Weekly, your socials, I love them so much. I was so funny. I actually sent Patrick one day, this is a few months ago, sent Patrick a clip that you had posted on TikTok of your trip in Universal Studios, Mario World. And I didn't even realize it was you. And he was like, that's Josh. I was like, whoa, my fucking God. It was so good. So that's saying
so
something, because my algorithm is so absolutely fucked. Like, it is the worst thing possible. And on that note, Josh, tell the people at home goodbye.
Goodbye.
We love you. We love you.
Thank you.
We love you.